All right, everybody, so it's bioenergy week 13. Yeah, looking good today. But and let's just look at the calendar too. I want to see how, because I think the course schedule that Kearns had like an extra week in it, so I think we're still on track to finish everything out. So yeah, I've got week 13 sitting here. This is week 14, and then this is finals. So contrary to the website, there is no week 15 or 6. Well, week 15 is in fact finals. So I think what I want to do today is just spend a little bit of time. So we'll spend half the time on environmental impacts, then we'll spend the other half on microeconomics. Sound good? Perfect. Okay. So let me dive into the week 3 discussion. It's one of my favorite parts of the whole course. And I sort of launched this thing. Ryan and Schneider weighing in real time. Pretty funny, right? We're in class right now. Feels like you're here, Joe. Cool. Okay. Good timing. Thank you. So, responsible forest thinning. That was my launch. So let's see what Doty came back with. It seems to me, from most of the stories I have heard, that humans have messed up the way a forest functions with our past activities of logging within them. And here's kind of my take on that. Maybe you've heard me say this before, but a lot of times you'll hear people say, "Oh, it's better for the environment," or "It's good for the environment." And so you end up with these two camps. And they're contradictory. So on the one hand, you could say there's really nothing we can do as humans to help the environment or save the environment. All of our actions in some way obviously impact it, and unless you're ready to go back to the jungle or the Stone Age or whatever, we're sort of always suppressing it, and there's nothing we're going to do to help. It's just like, how much can you not degrade it? Anyway, so that's my 2 cents on that.
The only real thing we can do is to not be here.
Yeah, but we're here, and I think the nice thing about where we are in time right now is we're at a place where we have been able, with our various imaging and sampling tools, to understand the planet's past, and with the models that we have, we're also able to a large extent, predict and affect its future. So yeah, we're always messing things up, but the fact is by how much. The article does a good job explaining how our past practices of cutting the biggest trees down and leaving the rest has caused the end of old-growth forests and replaced them with young, overcrowded forests. These forests have the potential to ignite and fuel the large fires we're seeing today. Yep. In my opinion, we should implement selective thinning to reduce probability of large-scale forest fires and use the harvested fuel to produce energy. There you go, by combusting biomass in a turbine, or by fermenting the biomass and making ethanol from it. Since burning biomass is considered carbon neutral, This is a process that makes the forest healthier and produces clean energy that can reduce and replace fossil fuels. So I didn't have a chance to watch Tom Javins talk, but Javins came in and talked a little bit about the fact that the fracking, that the natural gas market killed the economics of the biomass plant that was planned. And so I'll give you my own little take on that as well. Yeah. Okay, so that was Sean, thanks. And I'll maybe just take a quick look at that. Speech, coming terms. Dale Bosworth. Gosh, that's ringing a bell. It seems like I know him somehow. Hmm. Yeah, and I think the thing to mention is that things are always going to change, and they're changing quickly. And let me just point you towards this book. I might have mentioned it previously. Yeah, here he is, Ronald Bailey. I think I mentioned this a little bit last time. Take a look at it, because he talks about the fact that, like, sorry, but things are always changing. You know, whether you believe in so-called perpetual motion or not, you know, things are always changing and moving. But he used to be a climate denier. Now he acknowledges the science. The question is, how do we sort of flip the economics on the whole thing, if you will, from the extraction practices that Sean was just talking about in his Big Tree blog versus more sustainable practice. Yeah, there we go. Different types of tree removal. Here's another friend of mine. It's also worth noting that just yesterday we were back here in the bullpen running a Testo 5 gas analyzer. If you get a chance, pick up this guy's book too. It's hilarious. It's on sale at the Missoula bookstore. It's also on sale at the it's like $10, maybe $20. It's also on sale at the main campus. So just yesterday, this is how these things are tied together. So you're running the Testo 350 images. So this is our $15,000 5-gas analyzer, so we can measure CO, CO2, SOx, NOx, nitrous, and nitrous oxide, which are all greenhouse gases or incomplete combustion products. And the point is the same that we've been making about sustainable forestry. Craig Thomas, who you see here, has his own thinning practices that do restoration, that the elk come back. He was famous for having done restoration products or projects on some of Teddy Roosevelt's original cabins, so, you know, save those legacy, you know, U.S. legacies from burning. So check him out too. So thanks for posting that again, Sean. And then let's see. Excuse me. Let's see what Nick had to say. Many factors in finding the right approach to sustainable and forest thinning. Okay, I've not heard of this, but SFM, so it sounds like it's a widely known social, economic, ecological, cultural, and spiritual needs. Nice. Two clear-cutting techniques that can withstand diameter limit cutting and crown thing. And I can see how the practice of clear cutting can be economically advantageous because because it's a time money thing. You're not spending as much time getting to the, burning through human labor costs and all that than you would in picking things out one at a time. Trees are harvested only when there's a certain diameter, cut at chest level. This is something I'm not, do you know the reason for this, cut at chest level? Is that so the soil remains intact? So you still have a little bit of woody biomass there at the erosion control and keeping some soil.
Chest level, I remember specifically chest level.
Yeah. Crown thinning. Well, there we go. So if you do that, then you reduce fire hazard. Cool. Well, that's good. Nice references there. Sweet. Yeah, so it sounds like, obviously people have been thinking of various ways to do this, and I guess right now you've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 quintuple bottom line approach. All right, then Jason, Scientific American starts massive, U.S. starts massive. Your pretty interesting article that I feel covers the importance as well the opportunity to better manage, better forest management. Any of us that lives in Missoula surely knows that fire season's changed and become worse. I'm not yet for massive logging efforts, but I do think letting everything burn year after year is not a huge waste financially, but yeah, it is. It's why let all that biomass just go up in the sky and become a liability? So, good ones. I'm going to take one little peek out at that. Thank you. I like Scientific American. Yeah, no, they do a good job. They do a good job. Some of it gets pretty hardcore technical, especially some of their physics stuff, but just understandable enough to tease you into it. It's kind of cool, all these magazines are going online. So U.S. starts massive forest thinning project. Forest will thin. And where in the country is this? Do you know, Jason?
This one was found in Flagstaff.
Okay.
More specifically, I believe.
Yeah.
Which is kind of similar to us, I guess, too.
The fire had stripped the hills of trees and vegetation, and soil erosion left a smooth slope, allowing the summer rains to push an avalanche of mud, rocks, and other debris into the community. 12-year-old girl was killed, millions of dollars. Yeah. And a net, reason for it. 5 years, each 1.5 million. Big fire. Used to be 1,000 acres. Now it's in the tens of thousands. That's tough for me to wrap my head around, but yeah. Stewardship, 1 million acres. Good, love to be part of that. Cut and process the trees. Putting it to use. Financing. Vision. Clumps of trees. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I was actually at the talks at the Crow Reservation and Billings last fall when the Fed, the U.S. Department of Energy, signed the trade agreement between China and the Crow Reservation. And the fossil fuel guys told me, like, well, why don't you do exactly what's in that paragraph right there? Put the islands together, just so that, when the fire comes, you already have access to these areas and put them out that way. So even the fossil fuel guys are thinking about this. Encourage growth of diverse grasses. Yeah, and we even see that around Missoula. I've seen fires here in the valley, and they come back green. They come back really green. And they're not as massive. They're not as huge. They're not as polluting. Yeah, yeah. The forest is going to burn. Let's find a way to do this safely and effectively. Clumpy. Sun monsoons. And that is the issue. After the fire, then the trees are not there to absorb the water, and you get this giant flood. How thin is thinner, so there's some optimization. Yeah, and this is too bad. I mean, for me, I see this more likely to be with controlled burns rather than mechanical thinning. I see this as a fantastic mechanical engineering challenge. You know, build the robot that climbs the mountain for you and goes after that tree, so that you can do mechanical thinning and don't have to burn the stuff in the woods. And this is a double-edged sword. If you can't do the thinning where all the people are, you're again kind of contributing to the problem. You know, the fuel builds up.
I felt it kind of covered the whole.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. There was all the different opinions and talks about wildlife for sure. Concerns about a business plan. This is something we're facing right now with my team in trying to get the big banks to pay for this so that we can and then also put it together with a carbon credit plan as well. March die off. It's true. That is kind of how it happens. Big death knell rather than one tree at a time.
I think it was Steve Runs who talked about the beetle kill. He was in here about how they think that devastation is kind of ran its course.
Oh, really? Huh. Are trees building resistance to it or something like that? Or how?
It sounded more like it was just the environment and everything was right for the beetles to thrive.
Right.
And now it's kind of passed.
Well, yeah. It could just be there were a few vulnerable forests that really got hit by the beetle kill, and maybe it is decreasing. But if anybody knows, he does. I mean, he's got the satellites looking at the stuff all the time. Cool. All right. Well, let's. I think that's good for week 13. We just heard from Joe. It says he's just got a couple more assignments left. I think that's true for most. And also, one thing I want to tell everybody right now, while I've got your attention, is if you can't finish by the end of the semester, let me know. I know everyone in the class is trying. I know life happens and all that, but let me know and I can grant an extension. I'd rather not, but I'd rather just give you a grade of whatever you have. If you need more time to finish, happy to do that, and then just do a grade change down the road. So, all right, let's take a break here.